Hello. Do you know how difficult it is to admire the scenery and relax in Mario Kart World? Let me show you. So today, while exploring Crown City's amazing array of Mario references and Easter eggs, I found this movie poster for Lakitu the Fisherman, and I knew immediately what it was I had to do today. So come with me as we explore all of the waters of Mario Kart World to see if we can find the perfect fishing spot. This will surely prove difficult given the just sheer quantities of chaos found in nearly every single nook and cranny of this game. Racers racing, the traffic of NPCs not just being there, but actively littering and exploding, the scattered enemies denying our safety while we just try to relax and catch a fish. Spinning coins, flapping flags, P buttons, chaotic distractions all. We need a place to find solace in this game. And when we find it, we can come back here and let our homeless friends at the park just outside the city know. Yes, we will teach them how to fish, and then we will teach them how to unionize. Now we'll don our fishing garb and head out into the ocean because the ocean happens to be home to some pretty large fish. Though I think... Yes, I do believe this one might be too big, though. Yeah, there's no fishing that, or those. I came here to fish, but the ocean is just too dangerous and alive. The waves argue, the spines shimmer in the sun like warnings, and as I sit on the back of a gentle mistake, I realize I really am just a little guy. Big water's scary. Let's stick with fresh water today. Starting at Lagoon City, we'll head up the river and stop at any spots along the river that appear promising. There aren't any in town, by the way. Fish here would need to survive both the brackish waters of the canals and the hustle-bustle of the town. It's just a bit hard to relax here, so we'll just head upstream immediately, and oh, it doesn't take long for us to find someone with the same idea. Hello! But the fact that a fisher toad is here means that there's bound to be biting fish in this river. This is a good sign. While his bucket is empty, the day has only just begun. And just a short ways further upriver, there's another fishing pier, though the fishers here are missing, taking a break at the Yoshi's just up the road, perhaps. As far as fishing spots go, this one is okay. It's pretty to look at, but there's just a bit too much boat traffic and regular traffic on the overpass that's right there, as well as on the road that is just behind us. Lagoon City itself isn't that far away either, and are those containers Container Brand? Are the people who came up with that currently resting at Business Hotel? Let's excitedly move on and into the ever-autumnal maple forests around Cheep Cheep Falls. We should make careful note of everything we see along the way that could impact the fishing vibes too. For instance, notice the rafters slicing through the current, jet skis buzzing, rowboat farriers moving with purpose, and the mushrooms. No, they belong here, growing wild and true. Is that a lone banana peel wandering aimlessly downstream? A silent reminder of the world's small, careless moments? Ah, a rocky vantage point. Now we can see that the festivities at Cheep Cheep Falls are in season. They're always in season, though. It's always autumn here. But observe, a Cheep Cheep. These fish may be too excessive in size for a little guy like me to fish, yet its nature whispers the truth. Big fish consume the small. This Cheep Cheep is fat and unbothered, fed by 1,000 smaller mouths, and it's these smaller mouths we too seek to take advantage of. It's not so different from the city we came from, where the rich float effortlessly and the rest of us swim just to stay still. And oh, littler fish! Oh, they're beautiful and eyeless! Blind decorative koi. I've heard of these. They tend to be very expensive. And I doubt the shrine here in the middle of a festival, in the middle of a known course track I should add, would appreciate me fishing their decorative fish. So we'll continue upstream. And oh, this area is supremely well manicured, tended by invisible hands, and out on this small peninsula, you can really see how this garden combines the beauty of nature with the beauty of man-made structure. One could easily find themselves relaxing and fishing here, but there is a catch, and it's not the fish. The river here moves with such force it climbs uphill for but a breathless moment before remembering gravity and tumbling back down. And while fish are not the most intelligent of philosophers, even they understand when the world is racing past you and you are giving it your all, it is not the time to chase strange lures. Yes, even a bad faith internet comment would not distract a fish here. so we need to move on. Up the hill more, the water is flowing even faster, and these waterfalls are taller than the ones earlier, but still seem possible for these stronger fish anyway. But, no, not that one. You could be the beefiest trout in the known multiverse and still not be able to swim up a waterfall that big from a river that shallow. So is this as far up as salmon, cheap, or other fish that can survive in both salt and fresh water go? Meaning beyond these falls are only resident fish, the ones that spend their entire lives in the same stretch of river? Well, no, because this river split quite a bit ago, so it can go through Cheap Falls and also around it with a much steadier descent. And it's this side path we see the Cheap taking even. But now this spot right here, it's nice. The sky is beautiful, and you can see and hear the festivities going on just down and over the hill, but they're distant enough, maybe. The only downside is that the water is still moving too fast downhill to make this optimal. And also, there are bees here. We should leave. After a long drive uphill, the water finally calms. We find a small shrine perched on its own quiet island. Lanterns burning, boat burning. It's beautiful, though perhaps still too festive to fish in. Some well-off someone in those boats could see and report us, and fishing licenses are expensive in the Mushroom Kingdom. At its crest, the river splits, its fork marked by a worn stone that offers us a perfect perch. Here, fish arrive weary from the climb, perhaps drained of energy and thus hungry enough to forget their caution. Some, swept the wrong way towards Cheap Falls, may notice the danger and double back, giving us a second chance at harvesting the same soul. There is a bit of commotion, some traffic, a stray P button humming with challenge, but all in all, this place earns a mark on the map. A lovely fishing spot. Much further upstream, the next landmark is very interesting, the Dandelion Depths. Turns out this river goes through a cave, except actually, this river comes from the cave. Inside, we can follow these waterfalls into these pools, which eventually just end. These are springs. The water is coming up from underground and feeding the river, and there's a rather nice little ecosystem here. But those who know the map of Mario Kart World well enough already know that this cave appears along the river's pass, rather than it being the start or end of it. And we can see that here, I'll show you. Up this wide waterfall, we get a stretch of cave with more waterfalls on the sides of the cave walls, likely more spring water from underground, which is above us right now. And continuing upstream, we eventually realize, wait, we didn't change direction, but now we're going downstream instead of up it. So, the springs in this one cave are the source of not one, but two rivers which flow in opposite directions. So that's neat. We're learning today. I'll need to share this fun fact with someone downstream. This camper, perhaps. Hello, camper. Where's your buddy? Oh, out exploring? Well, I just wanted to say your campfire seems, excessive, given both its size and it being the middle of the day and all. And what's this here? Another fishing spot. A sign of fish. We are still on track. And upstream, just a bit more, we can find that camper's buddy checking out some reeds. He wants to make a grass whistle, perhaps, to get in tune with nature. Now, moving through a patch of mushrooms and under a few bridges, we meet up with a toad ferryman shipping another toad. Oh, so there's room on the boat for one more, you say? Well, isn't this just perfect now? We can move downriver while more closely observing our surroundings. Let the tour guide steer while we lean back and simply look up. A truly rare luxury in Mario Kart. Racing keeps your eyes locked forward, chasing seconds and dodging bananas. But here, in the canyon's cradle, time unfolds in spirals, not laps. The trees stretch impossibly high, reaching up to touch the sky. Flowers the size of dreams on vines that hang like old thoughts. I'm thinking about thoughts a lot lately. I guess that's what fishing does to you. Actually, this one bit here, this could be a decent fishing spot if you wanted to stay cool and in the shade the entire time. It certainly looks the part, but catching back up to our farrier friends, we struggle to get on of it, but then we reach Acorn Heights. It's magical here. The giant lily pads, flowers, and trees are awe-inspiring, as is the sheer determination of capitalism. Really? You thought this was a good place for a Yoshi's? This is a place brimming with natural beauty and life and one less water skeeter. Oh no. You know, if it weren't for this being the middle of a main course and the middle of a nature-loving town, believe it or not, look, there's windows in the hills, they live like hobbits here, I'd say this was another A-tier fishing spot. But we must move on, because the tour boat stops for no one. Not even these waterfalls. Hang on, are we actually... Oh! Okay, I was expecting us to turn around, but no! This singular toad, with a single oar that he keeps on the same side, I might add, is paddling furiously enough to lift all three of us and this boat up the falls. He even speeds up the paddling a little. This is impressive. Here, I'll lighten the load for you a little bit. Wow, look at that. Wow! Not even sorry? A bit up ahead now, and yes. Yes, I believe these two fishermen may have already completed the same quest I am on. They may have found one of the greatest fishing spots in this entire kingdom. One could easily lose themselves in slumber here as the river hums with a noticeable current, but not one too rapid. The sunlight filters through the canopy in golden shafts, painting the forest floor in slow-moving halos, and a view both upstream and down. Cliffs behind us, giant flowers ahead. Truly, nature seems to be holding its breath in perfect composition here, waiting for us to take it in. Almost. There's a crowd, their rods already cast, their minds filling with chemicals of contentedness. I try to feel at peace with the crowd, but I cannot. Zen has left the chat. And they're cheering for me. Okay, did I break a curse or something? At the ferry again, we're starting to make the litter problem worse. But also, you see those trees on the right, covered in ash? Volcanoes tend not to be the best things for the people in their immediate vicinities, so I doubt we'll find any good fishing spots too close to it, but we can still admire our surroundings. The road along the side of the river, the bullet bills exploding in the sky, constantly, a never-ending parade of fireworks to celebrate the excessive wealth of the Koopa King, as only he can afford to burn so much, and it's scaring off all the fish here. Finally, deeper into Bowser's territory, we can see that the water here, while perfectly clear and pristine, is also steaming. Most fish don't typically live where they can also be cooked because they tend to die or already be dead when cooked. So our ferryman Toad has the right idea and gets us out of here as fast as he can. But alas, up ahead does not look too promising either, as the trees give way to steel. Toad's factory, featuring the busy whir of boats, planes, trains, and automobiles. Shipping containers line the shore like empty promises, waiting to be filled with things no one has the time to love before moving on to the next. This is no place for fishing, not when the water tastes like exhaust and the only thing biting is the noise. And it's the same story for quite a while, until we reach this desert area which greets us with the waves of rising air. It too is beautiful, but in a totally different way. The trees here grow with fierce humility, drawing what little moisture they can from the dust and stone, not towering like the giants of the forest, but stubborn, rooted, and enduring. And through that, they are perhaps even more noble. Eagles trace wide, patient circles overhead, hunting their share of the river's quiet life. It's a good sign for us, as we seek the same thing. And here they are. But I almost can't look down at the water, as I am in awe of these canyon walls. They speak in layers, each striation a page in the Earth's slow autobiography. Tens of millions of years pressed into each color. A story which began long before we broke the mold of nature with civilization, and a story that will continue to be written when all is said and done with that. A reminder to all of us to stay humble and appreciate what we have. Oh, hey, there's a good spot. Yes, this canyon would make for a great fishing spot as well. There are bridges visible in the distance, but I think those are more than distant enough. Someone who likes rocks would like being here, admiring all the striations. In fact, I think we've just met a group of rock lovers. Hello! Well, fine then, ignore me. But I'll be taking this. I'll use its parts to fix my bike. Oh, maybe here. Well, the road is right there, so maybe not. And there go our friends. I'd better catch up to them. Yeah, you better stop for us, Mr. Truck. Ugh, you see what I mean? The littering these people do from their cars is just insane. It's literally pooping out coins! Now this shore seems nice. Distant enough from that bridge and the rapids on both sides. A gorgeous gorge wall to admire as you relax, rod in hand, shaking vigorously in anticipation of what is to come. One can dream. And oh, cheap! More signs of aquatic life! Well, not that one. What do you think the Cheep Cheep are up to? Do they travel upstream to breed? Is it to find a new food source? Maintain a varied diet? Is it just to stay fit and this is their daily jog? Well, sorry to murder you on your daily jog. Looks like this tour is going to go through or under Crown City. That's exciting. They kicked me out. Well, that's fair. I never paid for the ride. Hey, is that Nabbit? That guy owes me 20 bucks. Well, darn. Guess I'll just take his stereo for more parts. So we've traveled the largest set of rivers now, and next I'd like to explore this little river over here, which is potentially a small bay, I don't know yet. But then also this river that leads to the Great Question Block ruins, which I believe may have the nicest fishing spots yet, because the whole point of ruins is that nobody lives there. We'll start at Koopa Beach, which surprisingly has some ocean fishers on a pier. Hello. You are all braver than I, staring death in the face and dangling a treat for their kind right in front of them. So okay, it's not a bay. The water does flow out into the ocean here. Slowly though. So this water is absolutely brackish, dark, and muddied. But this smooth rock jutting out into the current around a meandering curve of the stream makes for an excellent perch. Yes, the cattails sway at the edges, gossiping softly in the breeze. Behind us, a warm wall of stone, and in front, the river, and beyond, a glimpse of the savannah, with its golden grasses and beautiful acacia trees. There is also no traffic to be seen, just tranquility, and a few very distracting flags. But that's not as bad as traffic itself, so it's forgivable. And what's that? The wooden thing? It's far enough away that it can be someone else's concern. I think if you wanted to fish out in the savannah in Mario Kart World, this is the spot to do it. And that is a brand new sentence, my friends. And now, just past that structure, which turns out to be a ramp, we see the source of this river chode, a single, ordinary-sized pipe. Wow. And where does it lead? Oh. So is all this water here runoff from the roads? It's where all the hidden storm drains we can't see go to? That's not necessarily a good sign for the potential fish population in that last fishing spot. So now it's time to take this river, and there are plenty of spots you could fish along it. It's definitely more out in the wilderness, though you would be in direct sunlight pretty much the whole time. Not a feature that a perfect fishing spot would list on Zillow, you know? But eventually, we do find a shaded spot along a slow-flowing river bend with Cheep Cheep, and there's, what, a single hiking toad over there? He'll pass. And a UFO hiding behind the trees. It will pass too. The only negative I can find is way over there. Those road signs. Yes, there is a road up that edge, but that edge being there, as well as these trees, will help deafen the whir of engine noise. So I think... Yes, wiggling in the air. That means happy. We've done it. We've found the first S-tier fishing spot in Mario Kart World. Oh, the adventure we've had. The glee we feel on our faces. Look at Toad across the river. Even he is happy. But we can't just find one and be done. No, we're exploring everything. And so we continue. Upstream, this river eventually widens dramatically to a floodplain and gives us a beautiful view of these large zigzag-shaped waterfalls. One could attempt to fish here as well, but the fish themselves likely won't get too close to the force around these falls, so following the Cheep Cheep around the falls feels like the better option. And now, atop the falls, we find ourselves underneath the Great Question Block ruins, and sure enough, there's practically nobody here. How perfectly pristine! We're bound to find several good fishing spots here, if not for the incredibly loud and intimidating geyser that launches racers up into the ruins proper. With a scream, I might add. Yes, I can easily imagine that the fish are no more fans of that than I. I mean, look at it. Look at Lakitu. And then look at it again. Not a fan. But that said, this swampy area is vast. Surely we can find somewhere. Like right here. If you sit down in this spot, you can't see the geyser. You only see moonlight resting on the water. You only hear the hush of old vines reclaiming what was never truly ours. And in the daylight, it's dreamlike. Fishing among the crumbled remains of a forgotten economy. Wondering what brought it down. Mismanagement, hubris, too many banana peels in their government plazas. Their bricks were made of gold. Actual gold. It was a true El Dorado. Just imagine an HOA meeting in a place like that. But I wonder, did everyone get to live up there, in the security of the floating villa? Or did these sky folk leave their poorer cousins below, to sweat it out in the mosquito-saturated jungle each night, beneath the ever-crumbling monuments to long-dead kings and mildly cursed geysers. It's the same old story, really. A kingdom with coins pouring out of exhaust pipes, golden trophies the size of skyscrapers, and a fiscal policy that seems to involve launching money into the air and hoping it happens to land near someone who needs it. How close is our society to crumbling? No matter, this is another lovely place to fish if you don't think too hard. The only problem with this fishing spot is that these waters are potentially too dirty, too swampy. You could try noodling some catfish out of the mud, but given that this is the Mario World, any random catfish could turn out to be house-sized, something one typically would not voluntarily stick a body part into. Typically. So on top of the rivers, there are also a few small bodies of water we should check out, starting with this small lake or pond right here, and oh, wow, with the stars skipping along the water's surface and everything. Hang on, let me get a better angle. Oh, the way it perfectly frames everything. And despite being up on a man-made wall, it still feels so in tune with nature, working with it instead of against it. Oh, and look, the beautiful eyeless koi are here. And they could swim through rocks, I guess. We're far enough away from any main courses or festivities too, so no one here is going to stop me from fishing these either. Oh, glorious day. Oh yes, we'll celebrate with a delicious sushi boat and go right back to that spot. And go right back to that spot. The way it frames Peach's castle in the distance even. This could truly make an emotionally suppressed grown man cry. That's why they typically fish so much anyway. Therapy is too expensive. Let's look around this pond some more, but I do doubt we'll find anything even close to that one spot. Oops, I've just peed myself. Well, so long as no one touches this pee button and spreads these distractions around, that spot will remain completely perfect. But we can't be done. There is more search to sought. There could always be an even better fishing spot out there somewhere. This Power Star-shaped lake won't be one of them, though, as that's about as artificial as can be. I mean, there's some aquatic grass there, that helps, but it's all just too manicured. It's unnatural, and I doubt castle security would let me fish here for long, nor will this be. Interestingly, though, while the shape is clearly fake, the water itself isn't. It comes through this grate. And this grate definitely keeps fish as big as Cheep Cheep out, but I wonder if smaller ones still inhabit this lake at all. Well, the water from here goes under the road and is connected to the first river we were on, though a part of it we did not explore originally, so let's do that. And yeah, there are a few spots here and there that are okay, though only if you're alright with the constant smell emanating from Moo Moo Meadows just up the hill. To the desert river next, we'll take the train, and there it is. The ultra-wide mouth of the river, feeding the sea with fresh sediment and juice. Let's hop in. It doesn't take long for us to find two more fishing piers, and they're pretty good location-wise. A bit close to the ocean, and to the town, and to these 14,000-foot-long flags, jeez. But it's the third fishing pier, quite a bit up the river, that I need to take a close look at. You can still see some of those flags in the distance, sadly, but everything else is perfectly immaculate. The dunes, the cliffs, the palms, the life ring just over there in case you fall in, the cool water against the warm sands, even that bridge. It's distant enough that I and the fish will be fine, but it being there somehow adds to the complex beauty of this scene, and best of all, the fishermen that are already here will give you a peach medallion they caught if you leave. So I'ma do that. Upriver from here, though, there's not one notable thing until the river connects back to the first river we explored. So next, we go to the river under Whistletop Summit. Now, before we even get there, I know that nothing too close to Whistletop itself will work. It is a train station. It's going to be loud and littery and a lot. But what I didn't expect was another Toad Boat tour happening right underneath it. In fact, I caught them right at the end of the tour. They were turning around and beginning to head back down the river, so I hitched a ride, again, without paying. And sure enough, once we left the trains behind, the natural beauty steadily shined. Take a look at this view. Ignore the Yoshi. Just take a look at this view. The shallow rapids, the trees, stars, and distant bridges. This is what makes a happy fisherman. This bridge too. Honestly, gotta admire the architecture. 4.5 stars out of 5. I'd live under it if I could afford to. I seriously cannot get enough of these mesas in the moonlight. Oh? The moon just disappears when the sun comes up, okay. The sunlight shines off the misty river as eagles trace circles above, and somewhere between them, a helicopter helicos by, dropping supplies from above, maybe for wildlife researchers, maybe for the eagles, maybe or the guilt. It's funny how much work we put into saving what we nearly ended ourselves, building sturdy scaffolds of care to fix what we broke with greed-driven urgency, a species endangered by our reach, rescued by our hands. There's something poetic in that, or tragic, or both. But here's a nice fishing spot. I personally would choose a spot like this, but I like being close-ish to the road just as a reminder that there's work to be done, and I have to do it later since I'm not doing it now. And a while later, we're at the mouth of the river again, Crown City, and a bunch of cheap, traveling in what looks like the same circle path that the boat we're on is following. Huh. Weird. It's like a video game pathing system at work or something. So do the icy areas offer anything? I mean, Lakitu isn't exactly equipped for ice fishing, but as long as the water isn't frozen, there's no issue for him, right? Sure enough, this lake is thawed, or never frozen, and it's so crystalline, but being in the middle of a ski resort, meh. If you really liked fishing and you were already at this ski resort with family or whatever, I could see fishing here, but I would not specifically choose this place. You know? Well, this stubby little river here is interesting. This part of the road is entirely frozen over. In fact, it might not even be a road. It might be a ditch they filled with water and had frozen. Ice physics are always a fun addition to careful races, after all. But as you can see, it and its surrounding snow and ice are all what's feeding this river as it melts. It's all slowly dripping off and down here before flowing out to sea. So that's interesting. There's also this tiny pond to the north, which you theoretically could fish at, but it's immediately under like a tree-dwelling village. Not exactly the best place to fish, especially considering this is probably where they dump all their dirty, used water. Though, you could take some of that, refurbish it up a little, and then put it up for auction on a reselling site. Come on, keep up the hustle. And the last spot to check out is over here in the northwest. Ah, yeah, it's just a bay. And one with smoke and ashes falling down from the nearby volcano and bullet bills exploding. So kind of an absolutely terrible place to fit. Hey, is that Nabbit? That dude still owes me like 22 bucks. It's higher now due to inflation. Come here, you. Yeah, I'll take it. So, I guess there is a lesson at the end of all of this. Don't let the screeching tires of late-stage capitalism cause you to burn out too. Taking breaks is fine. Stop and smell the roses. Notice the way the sun hits the water. Yes, the economy is collapsing. Yes, there are banana peels in the street. And yes, someone just got launched into space by a geyser of light. But you can still find the quiet. You just have to pull over sometimes. Find somewhere you can just breathe. Watch the fish. Find the calm in the storm. And pretend to fish as a little Asian turtle man who rides around on a boombox. Thank you to all our patrons who help keep this channel flowing, and goodbye.